I've got to get to the
No,
hospital.
no need to apologize,
Thanks, Will.
thank you. Were we on?
It's 7.
Okay, call the meeting to order. Begin with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Make that motion.
Second.
Second, have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. On pages, approve the minutes. The page 1, in your packet, those are the minutes for January 2nd. In your packet for January 8th, those minutes has been revised, and the Miller Press, along with each of the council members, have a revised minutes of that meeting. So we will approve page 1, and then the handout that was submitted with regard to information attained since the original one was sent out. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from January 2nd and the additional one from January 8th.
I'll make a move we approve January 2nd minutes and the revised minutes from January 8th.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, motion on the table is to approve the minutes from January 2nd and January 8th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Public input.
I had a call from the Ball Association wanting to be on the agenda for next time to discuss some weed control out there.
Okay. All right.
What'd you say, the ball?
Yeah, the ball fields.
Okay, sorry.
Yep, the Ball Association.
Okay.
And prior to us coming on, Pastor Will was here after he gave his opening prayer and indicated that he would like to, thank the city, the street, the water sewer, the electrical, and the police for all the combined effort during the last couple of days with regard to the extreme drop in temperature, and I'll just repeat, what he did. Sometimes, not everybody sees what goes on behind the scenes with regard to the benefits of this community. I'm paraphrasing, but he did express appreciation. Also with that, and I wish, I know Dustin wasn't going to be here, but when that substation, when that power line had the issue by that substation, which many people may have seen the video on Facebook, we had Dustin, Devin, and Dan out with regard to that to have a smooth transition of power within the city of Miller. I felt bad for those in St. Lawrence that lost power for a while, but that was one of those things. If you weren't aware of it happening, you didn't know it happened, and if you weren't aware with regard to maintaining electricity in the community, so I just want to give a shout out to them and all the others that were active on the snow removal and everything within the city too as well. So just wanted to include that with the public input. Also, at the Farm and Home Show, one of the at the city booth, there was the door prize for a $100 credit on the person's next bill. Does anybody want to draw out the name?
Go ahead.
Go ahead and read it if you'd like to.
Rodney Gortmaker.
Is it senior or junior?
It's got a phone number.
It's probably Rotten Junior, I'm guessing. What's the phone number?
3443. 853.
Oh, that's us.
Well,
Yay.
I will share this with you. We did have some individuals that, they weren't residents, but they had like a parent who was, so
You're welcome.
you're welcome.
Well, rather than sticking this in your utility bill like I was going to go through and find, I'll just give it to you. You have $100 on your next utility bill.
Thank you.
What are the odds?
Rigged. She's here.
I even turned my head and shook
Yep.
him up.
And she didn't even know her name was in there, so that's
That was pretty good.
I remember distinctly when that slip went in.
You do,
I do remember it.
we have another door prize. We may have more people in attendance that may have put put the name in there. Okay, having said, any other public input? Hearing none, we'll go on to new business. We'll let the gentleman from Liberty National, which is a volunteer supplement insurance that they are offering to our employees, and they would just like to speak on behalf of their insurance. So, gentlemen, I'd have you introduce yourself and
First of all, you guys, I want to let you guys know how important, how much it warmed my heart to see you guys start with prayer. I believe this country was founded on prayer, and it blows my mind to see that that's still, like, we're a part of what makes this country so special. And I love to see it.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
first of all, guys, I'm Anthony, and this is Joshua.
Is that on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
We are local guys. We live there in Lyman County. We are representing a company today called Globe Life Liberty National Division. And what this employee benefits company does is specialize in just that, unique employee benefits. We generate tax savings through payroll deduction, and it is at no cost to the employer. So I'm going to have Joshua hand out a couple brochures for you. And before I really get into who we are and what we do, I'm going to kind of give us some credibility. So we have local offices nationwide, and what that means, guys, is us being local, any claims, any questions, anything at all goes directly to us. You don't have to bug an 800 number or a home office somewhere out 4 states away. We are down the road, and we take a lot of pride in our service and how we treat customers. We have a lot of top financial strength ratings, the best in the business. We're A+ and AM Best. We're a member of the Better Business Bureau, and we are on Ward's Top 50 Health and Life list. We are the official life insurance of the Dallas Cowboys. I know it's kind of, you know,
Do you fix broken hearts?
right. We need to get a policy on that. So guys, in a nutshell, what we do is we, at no cost to you guys, we help attract and retain employees with much needed benefits. We help employees protect those they care about most, and we help employers and employees save on valuable tax dollars. So the IRS lets us pre-tax up to $50,000. How we are different from other places. Before I go on, do you guys mind me asking, is there anything that you offer currently?
We have Aflac for the supplemental, and then we have Unum for all the life insurance.
Sure, good. And how many employees work full-time, would you say?
16?
Perfect. So we have a unique life benefit that no other company can offer. This is our second month with this, offering this product here in South Dakota. We've had great responses. We are going to be enrolling the city of Platte on the 24th. They seen a benefit in offering this to their employees. We use a needs-based approach. So what that means is I'm going to ask specific questions to determine if there's even a reason for me to fill a gap. Like you said, you have Aflac and the other life insurance. If you don't need anything, I'm not going to sell it to you. It's as simple as that. I want to make sure I'm selling you something that makes sense to you. So we ask personal questions like, do you have something permanent that you could take after you retire, something that you could take for the rest of your life and the benefits will never decrease, and the premiums will never increase. So there is an introductory offer for everyone for hearing us out. On behalf of you guys, we would issue a $3,000 accidental death benefit at no cost. There's no strings attached to that. It's something that we like to, as Globe Life, give out as a thank you for partnering with us. There's actually a discount card that comes along with that. It's an introductory offer. And basically what that does is give you discounts on vision, hearing, prescription, and chiropractic care. So I'm going to get right into it. The bread and butter of this company, the reason that makes us unique as far as life benefits that no other company can offer, is our group term life. There's coverage to age 100, as you see right in front of you. There's coverage to age 100 with the option to be paid up at 65, meaning you would never pay another dime in premium when you reach that age, and carry that all the way till age 100. And let's be honest, a lot of us probably won't see that age, if we're being realistic. So this is something that we like to say, quote unquote, that is permanent, that you could take after you retire, and the benefits will never decrease and the premiums will never increase. You get locked in at a rate for the rest of your life, and that's something you take with you until you die. And as we say with life policies, it's not an if, it's a when. So it is completely portable, and it is pre-tax. The IRS lets us pre-tax up to $50,000, like I said. So in addition to our unique life benefit, we have a cancer policy. So a lot of times, Americans suffer from medical debt. They're left with a catastrophic medical bill, having to keep food on the table, having to pay a mortgage, whatever it is. So this is something we like to make sure everyone takes a good look at. There's a first occurrence benefit of $3,500. And there's a chemotherapy radiation treatment benefit that pays each chemotherapy radiation treatment. Opposed to a lot of competitors, they pay weekly, this pays daily. So we have a hospital confinement benefit and a transportation benefit. There is no lifetime limits on this policy. If you beat cancer and it rears its ugly head up again in a couple years, the policy is gonna pick up right where it left off. I'm not gonna bore you guys to death. So this is our last page here. This is an accident protector max policy. It covers accidents on and off the job, as long as you seek treatment within 48 hours to an emergency room. There's a $500 benefit for that. There's $1,000 per hospitalization benefit, and there's $150 to $500 confinement benefit each day you're there, depending on how long you had the policy with us. So by the beginning of that fourth year, you're looking at $500 a day. You end up in the ICU, you double that daily benefit. We take pride in our quick claims. Like I said, all claims go directly through us. You make a claim, that's hitting your account within 48 hours. So you guys, it's as simple as that, really. What we do, I'm sure Aflac does a similar procedure. We go and meet with everyone one-on-one because there's some personal information. We see if there's even a need. Like I said, we'd ask some of those personal questions to determine if there's interest or to determine if there's even a need for us to be there. And we'll offer protection to those who need it. And there's introductory offers for everyone, no strings attached, the $3,000 coverage and the discount card. And all we would ask from you guys is to allow us to do so through payroll deduction, so you guys could save on tax savings, and also the employee could save on tax dollars as well.
Okay.
So that's it, you guys. We have a pretty open schedule. I hope that we could lock arms and bring in these benefits to your people. As far as the rest of it goes, I plan on moving here so I can get in on that discount on that. Sign me up.
Yeah, once a year at the Farm and Home Show, that was second year? Is this the second year we've done that? At Farm and Home Show, we have a resident of our community sign up for that door prize, so.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've been to a couple of these now, and this is by far the most like the layout is just different from everyone else's. It's nice. You guys really take care of your people here. I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Just for the record, I think I was informed that at least 5 people have to, from our employment, from the city, have to sign. Is there a number
No,
that
so there has to be 5 minimum eligible.
eligible? Okay,
Okay.
If
Oh,
one
so-
person takes
okay.
coverage, that's one person we were
Alright.
able to help.
okay, very good, okay.
One
Very-
question,
Yes,
just
sir.
if I read that right. So a 54-year-old can get into the term life,
Yep,
and he'll be paid, he pays for 11 years, and
Correct.
then it's paid for until death, essentially.
100, yep. But that's something you gotta ask yourself, the premiums probably aren't gonna look like a spring chicken's price, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
The
but if that's
certificate has to
something
be
that makes
paid for.
sense,
Yeah.
if it's something that makes sense to you, by all means.
I would also try to stay within an hour's worth of wage a week. Whenever we're talking about these benefits with your employees, we try not to go over that, you know, that's just kind of our needs-based approach. We try not to go over an hour's worth of wage a week. So we also try to, with that paid up to 65 option, we try not to go over the age of 50, because other than that, then the price would just be too,
Astronomical.
yeah.
Right,
be
yeah.
thinking about.
Okay, very good.
Very good
Any other
question.
questions? Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
So then we'll just follow up with Sheila.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you can do
We can
that.
see if we
Perfect.
can set up a time and if we can get the employees to roll through and see if you can,
If, however it works, I mean, if it works out to where we could go to each department and not cause too big of a ruckus, if
a lot
that
of
makes
times, like
sense.
now with the weather being the way it is, they're usually here in the morning for, you know, and you could, if, like with Aflac, they were here like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
They just sat in here and the employees took turns coming in here,
Sure,
one at a time. So we
All right.
just said, this morning, they're gonna be here, please stop in and visit, so.
okay,
Okay.
cool.
If that
Well-
works for you guys.
Sounds good. When is that? When did you want us to come back in?
I'll give you a call tomorrow, or you can give me a call tomorrow and we'll try to find a date that we can.
Let's do it. I like it.
That's good.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Hey,
Thank
thanks
you.
a lot. Safe
Thanks.
travels.
Safe travel, yes.
Have a good night.
Stay
Yes.
warm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, all right. The second item on the agenda with regard to new business, the Code Enforcement Specialist LLC agreement. And this is just more or less the, to approve the agreement. And again, I come in to get additional information, and Shayla can correct me if I'm wrong, there's a $1,500 upfront cost. And then anything in addition, when it goes over that, then the city will be billed, like in this last year, the total was $2,897, $2,987, so that was whatever, you know, and then the previous year was $3,625, but that minus that initial $1,500 and stuff, and being in the office today, I asked, you know, with regard to that, because we haven't really received anything, which that's why we have a code enforcer, because they take pretty much care of everything. She had a nice, you know, pretty good stack of papers that residents of our community were contacted with regard to, you know, maybe some property concerns.
And that total is them coming down quarterly, and you're getting reports quarterly? Is that how it is?
I think we get a more than we get a monthly in the summertime,
Okay. So it averages out
Yeah.
where they are making
Yeah.
trips for that dollar
and
amount.
they did go through November. We got letters in November, so they kept going through November because the weather was nice this year.
So we're getting our money's worth is,
So are all the fees the same, like the $75? Is that what we paid last year and
Yep.
everything? Nothing's gone up.
Nothing, no.
Okay.
This is the same outfit we've had for how long?
This must be like 5 or 6 years, probably.
Because the one
Mike,
guy that got hold of me years ago was from Aberdeen. I
yeah,
think.
and this Joel Johnson bought the company from Mike Olson. Mike still works there, but he's going to be retiring this year. But Mike's the one that we started working with, and then this other guy purchased the company from him.
Am I right or wrong? And I know we discussed this before, and I think it was with, I forget which officer, if it was Ted or what, but it seems like somewhere in our bylaws or whatever, this is something that traditionally was done by the police department.
it was, and there was a meeting before we were elected where it was agreed that it might not be the right first step for the police department to be making contact with those people. And then
Different portions of it, yeah.
yeah, obviously extreme circumstances is that. So I do know that we had talked, especially with like the lawn, we had cases where Ron was going to be more of a first contact as far as like
The 8 inches.
lawn
Yeah.
with that, and then everything else was any, how do we put it in the minutes? Any city employee can make a recommendation for code enforcement. to a-
Was that ever
us.
cleaned up in the,
No.
in our policies or anything?
Our ordinances, we need to do a lot of work on those, but there's never been anything written in policy that it goes to. It's just the police has been, they drive around, if they saw the weeds too tall, they would tell Ron would contact them. Mow your lawn or we're gonna do it. If we did it, then we charged them quite a bit. So,
Cause I remember we had the conversation again where we
Yeah.
got brought up about how the police should be involved, and I think
they kind
a
of backed up.
majority of us agreed that it wasn't a bad idea. Yes, they can, the police department can
If
make
they see it-
recommendations, but they don't necessarily be
The contact.
contact first anyway. Once it becomes a more of an issue, obviously, that's always a resource, but
And then the other other code enforcement, there's a lot of things that law enforcement apparently is not supposed to do. That'd be a good code, I'd like to go to a code enforcement thing at the convention, but it's always the same time as the finance officers, it seems like, but it'd be good to go to that, to see what those regulations are.
we could definitely make a note of how we wanna, that is one that obviously it's gotten brought up more than once that we need to clean up. There's a lot of them that need cleaned
Yeah.
up, but that's one that's getting brought up more than once.
You know, and the thing of it is, and this is the unfortunate thing sometimes happens, and we'll be here maybe a few months and that'll resurrect itself and nothing was done, you know, from when it was first brought up. And I think that's where we need to maybe schedule something to look at something like that to,
What committee would that be?
I think that would be the, whether it be the,
Would it be
be
zoning?
necessarily public safety committee,
I'd almost say that's almost like zoning committee.
Is it the zoning maybe? I don't really know.
could be the zoning committee, you know.
I would think so.
We could,
Airport, city planning and zoning.
so,
Just wanna
Could
make
be
a recommendation.
beautification, we leave it to those two.
Yeah,
Putting the weeds down. Well, I guess that'd be a
Yeah.
beautification thing.
but we could, you know, we could go through it and, you know, with the 3 council members on that committee
That's
and
an older one.
myself, and we could,
It's last year's, I guess.
you know, make a
We
recommendation
don't
with
have one
that
for this
regard.
year.
Maybe get some input with regard to that. And, but that's a good point, you know, some of those things that do need to be
Cleaned.
cleaned up.
I guess I would, I don't know, we have to have a motion, but
Well, we need to go into the motion to have the agreement, you know, enter into the agreement, but,
I guess I would say make the recommendation to the zoning committee to relook at that ordinance and see if there's anything that needs changed
okay,
or audited.
okay.
But in the meantime, until that happens, I would say that we need to sign the code enforcement agreement that's in place until we get a recommendation from the zoning
Okay,
committee.
all right. Have a motion on the table to enter into the contract with the Code Enforcement Specialist LLC agreement. And then also, have the zoning committee look into our, present ordinance, with update. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. I'll throw this just a little bit out, and I'm with Shayla on this. I don't know all the parameters with regard to code enforcement, but I think there's something more than somebody going up and knocking on your door and telling you have to do something. I think there's certain procedures, certain protocol that has to be followed. And it's to my knowledge, well, I would think that not only this council, but past councils have looked at the manner in which that is done and have recognized that. So anyway, having said that,
My concern is, I got a letter one time from the code enforcer, and it wasn't even my property. It was on somebody else's property, and I think if you had more of a local connection to it, they would probably know, was where I was coming from. You know, with it being something with the police department, or maybe if the code enforcer finds something, he should point it out to the police department right away. And that officer probably knows most of the people's property in this town, I would think.
He does come in and talk to us. But, you know, if he gives us a area and then we show him on the map and then he looks up the legal description.
Well, he
But
got
if
this
he's
one
off,
wrong.
if he's off a little bit,
He was
yeah.
off quite a little bit.
Okay.
And he apologized after I
That's
read
good.
him the riot act, but I was not very kind.
can
I know there's a
understand
lot
that.
of stuff in there that we could maybe take a look at, you know, there's certain thing. With any code we put, there's gonna be people that are abused by it, and then there's gonna be people that abuse it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we just need to double check that we are in a good happy medium with our codes, where
Obtain
we're
that.
not abusing the people that really aren't doing anything wrong, but the way it's worded is.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion on the table to enter into the agreement and also to have the zoning committee to look at our present ordinance with regard to that. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, the same.
I,
Motion carries. Hesitated. Number 3, the fire department
Did you
roster.
oppose? Did
I
you?
said
You
aye
didn't
for the
oppose.
opposed.
Yeah, he opposed.
Oh, you opposed,
Yes.
my
Yep.
fault.
You had
Okay,
one nay.
opposed.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Did I get a second?
Yes.
yes.
Okay,
Wait,
okay, that's right.
see, we're not always on the same.
Item number 3 on the new business is the approve the roster for the fire department, and this is to, for purpose of workman's comp. And that roster is found on page 5.
So we just need to approve these?
Yes.
Okay. I move to approve the roster.
Second,
Discussion. Now, let me ask you this, if a new fireman is added to the department, that individual needs to be the council has to be notified to that effect?
No, the council doesn't have to.
Or, I
do.
mean, you,
Yep, if I just get a notice and I'll just write it on here, that's sufficient.
That's
And if they
sufficient.
don't tell us and he's been on there for 3 or 4 months, they're not gonna deny a workman's comp. As long as we are blanket, basically saying,
Okay.
everybody that's a fire department, that's a volunteer, we're gonna cover.
sounds good.
And it's usually up to 40 people. But yeah, if somebody comes in and is on the fire department and I don't get notified right away and they get hurt, they're still gonna be covered.
Yeah,
Okay.
and with
But
that,
yes, they should get a hold of me as soon as they know if somebody new's on there.
right, and, okay, with that, we're probably one short of 40, is that right? Because that one number 28 scratched
As of
out.
last night, they filled one of their spots, so they have
Spots.
one open spot, so they have 39
Yeah,
members.
39, okay. Have a motion on the table and a second with regard to approving the fire department roster. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
I abstained from that vote.
You abstain? Okay, thank you. Item number 4 is the memorandum of destruction. This is the 2000, that's on page 6. And basically is from the 2018, am I
Yep.
with regard to, and there's a list of items that will be disposed of. With that, there are pertinent records that are still maintained, you know, so all information or all, you know, with regard to that time frame is, in fact, we went through some thumb drives, that's what they call them, right?
And then minutes and ordinances and resolutions can never be destroyed. Those
Yeah.
are a lifetime. So anything that can be destroyed is on here. Anything that can't, obviously, we're not going to.
And, and I think we hang on to them a little bit longer, that's 2 years longer
Then required.
than required, so we do hang on to them, some of those records, not some of them, those records 2 years longer than we're required to, so. With that, I would, entertain a motion as far as memorandum of destruction of records.
I'll entertain that motion.
Second,
Discussion. Have a motion and a second with regard to doing with the memorandum of destruction. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay, and new business number 5, 2023 year-end financials. That's found on page 7 through 9. You can look through them, and if any have any questions, you have anything you'd like to mention on that, or just, I think they're pretty
I
much,
think I snuck in here. Our general fund, you can kind of see where we budgeted to be 208 in the hole. We had East Fourth Street improvements. We actually ended up being 127,000 in the black. The reason we were in the hole was for East Fourth Street. That didn't cost as much as it was supposed to. Plus, we brought in a lot more money than we anticipated. And above it, you'll see that, like, the street department did not spend $121,000 of his budget. So the general fund ended up way better than what we budgeted for. Water fund is also, we budgeted to be taking 86,000 out of savings for also that East Fourth Street project. That was significantly less than what they thought it would be. So we only had to take 21,000 out of the water fund, out of our unassigned funds, basically. And then the electric, same thing. He budgeted to take out 491,000 out of his savings. We ended up taking 200 out of his unassigned funds. That was all meter work. He didn't do any of the transmission line like he budgeted for. So that's why there's such a big difference there. That 300,000 was transmission line that did not happen this year. We were hoping for a grant and that didn't happen. So overall, we budgeted to be 752,000 in the hole, and we were 79,000 revenues to expenses. So that's a lot better than we had budgeted for. So that was nice. I like
Yes.
that kind of.
yeah.
And then above that is our cash report for where we're at each bank. And our overall cash right now is, at the end of the year, was 5,639,000.
I think you guys should run for office, national office.
Well, I tell you what, there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle together to makes that happen. And, a lot of, communication too, and, I think responsibility to make sure things happen the way they do. So I wanna not only commend our finance department, but also our department heads and departments with regard, to that. Sometimes things work out that way, and, sometimes they don't, but a lot of that's because of things that weren't foreseen that came up and absolutely needed to get done.
Like the deal over at Ron's. you know.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That's just a small one, but
Yeah.
you could hit one of them that costs you 6 figures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't
We
see
were lucky
that.
it was in,
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
it's not gonna happen, but
It used to happen
in another
a lot.
city, it could.
Those water main breaks used to be around 100,000 on a
I
regular
remember
basis.
that Christmas Eve, that one broke
Right
right out
here?
here in
Yeah.
front.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
also-
so happy those aren't happening on a regular basis.
yeah.
It's also a result
Knock on
of
wood.
Well,
We're
and
hoping everything's new enough and
Yeah.
deep and
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
infrastructure upgrades help with that a lot.
Yes.
huge.
that should help a
And I think
lot.
it's got, our water loss is a lot less, therefore our water is coming in with more. Same with our electricity. I think we're gonna see a big change next year with all the new meters because they're reading properly. So,
And those who showed up to the Farm and Home Show and those who didn't get a chance to be there because of being canceled the second day, Dustin was out there with the 3 meters and he had the new meter there, and he did indicate that just they weren't reading properly. That first one with the digital, and the other one was hard to read because over the top of it, you had to clean it off and you had to hurry up and read it properly. Now all this is gonna be much better with regard to that. And
It's good.
with that, some may look at something in their the amount of their bill may change a little bit, but because we have a more true reading with regard to how much is being used.
The old meters were giving away power.
They
Yes,
were
they
given away, yes, they were, so that's a good analogy as far as that. So, with that, I'd entertain a motion to approve the 2023 year-end financial report.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, a motion and a second on the table with regard to approving the 2023 year-end financial report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay, item number 6 deals with Helms and Associates invoice of 32,855. And this is regard to the airport project. For information, 90% of the total cost is incurred by the federal government, 5% by the state, and then the invoice received is the 5% of the amount that the city owes.
Must be 6, is that 6%?
No, that's the completion amount.
That's how
Oh, I
much-
got you, I got
That's
you.
how much is completion.
Okay.
And this has its own account in the, you can go up here to this cash report. Because the federal government was paying 100% for a couple of years. This one. I guess it's not on the, it's in our, we've got, where's my 501? Oh, got it over here. We have 78,000 in there. Because the last 2 or 3 projects, we haven't had to pay anything because the federal government paid 100%, federal and state. So we've been putting money in that account for our projects and then it's not been needed, so.
Good to have a rainy day fund.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. And once that starts to come down, we usually put $7,500 a year aside, even if we don't have a project into that account, so that we're ready for the next project.
Make a motion that we pay Helms and Associates invoice 32855 for the airport project.
For the, how much, the total amount that, you want to read that?
$5,097.62.
Okay, I just want to put
Second.
that for record. Okay, motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none, submit a vote to pay Helms and Associates invoice 32,855. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Page number 7, the pipeline emergency response exercise. That's just more or less informational, and if anybody's interested in attending, and that will,
There's several different dates
Yeah.
and locations, so.
so, with that regard. These are just one-day sessions, right?
Yeah, just like a half a day, I think.
Half a day?
I think if anybody goes, it should be limited to Pier or Huron, in my opinion.
Okay,
That would make the most sense.
Correct.
all right.
Is there any cost to this? There's no cost, is it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it looks like the sponsors, Basin, Black Hills,
And those guys are
all
all,
those folks.
It'll
It's just
be
our
the
costs to
It'll-
get there and back and all that
mileage
stuff
and
is what I'm
meal or
thinking.
whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
Okay,
So
You can
that
go to
wouldn't be so
whatever, but
bad.
we'll reimburse to Peter Huron.
correct. That's the way I would say it.
all right.
Okay.
Do we want to just more or less make that a note to that, with
Yeah.
regard to that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Use them 2 different
I'm not,
days.
you know, if a special situation dictates they can't, I mean, we could look at that, but that, right now, that's here and Imperial, okay? Having
And they
said-
could always bring that back to people who
Yeah,
can't attend.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
Aberdeen, if they needed to, was close, and
yeah,
Mitchell are close,
Mitchell's
but
not too bad,
yeah.
there's options within that
yeah,
100 miles.
absolutely, okay? Old business, Personnel Committee recommendation with regard to inclement weather, and that's found on page 13 on the back of your agenda that was handed out.
Okay, do you want me to
Please
go
do,
over those
yes.
changes?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, in the new wording, we did take and, add some more information. We put like, upon recommendations on the second line, upon recommendations from the police officer on duty, Han County Emergency Manager, and acting street department head. We added that in there just to kind of, show that we would have more, eyes out there to, help you with your decision to do that.
Yep.
And then, but we did add at the end of, the closures proclaimed will be paid as standard workdays. And we put in not to exceed 2 days per calendar year, after which they will be allowed to use sick leave and/or vacation. And we had standard workdays, but then, someone noticed before we've changed to work
Yeah,
week.
when this was originally implemented, we got overtime over 8 hours.
Right,
And a number of years ago, we switched it from 8 hours to 40 hours in a week instead of 8 hours in a day.
okay. Yeah, so
So we
that
just
has
changed
been
that to
changed.
work week instead of work
Right.
day.
Okay, that was a friendly amendment from the office. And then, down on the bottom, when they were looking at information, they had taken out the electric department, but the electric department does help with snow removal, so we left them, we put them down here. They're supposed to be in this spot down here for, where they're designated as essential. And then we had, if an employee cannot make it to work due to inclement weather and a closure is not proclaimed by the mayor, sick leave and/or vacation may be used upon department head approval. And then we added the information about notice of office closures will be posted on clotheslines, KLLN, KABY, and social media, just kind of as a reminder, so that somebody can maybe see that the offices are closed and won't go out into the bad weather that they're not supposed to be traveling in.
Okay.
Okay?
I have a question. You said down there in the new wording
Yeah?
that is it supposed to have the electrical department as essential?
Yes, it's supposed to be in there, but somehow it got taken out.
Okay, but it will be,
It should be, yes.
okay.
Yep,
And this is where I wish Dustin was here, because he did talk to me about it, and I asked him to, contact, maybe I did, or me, I'm not gonna say it, because
Okay.
They're pretty much, if they need to be, they're usually working, if need be, with the street department cleaning, and they're available with regard to that. My question, I guess, with regard to this, and looking over, when especially employees designated as essential, I understand the importance, but we understand that they will do it. Does it has to be designated the fact that they will do it with regard to essential? I'm just throwing that out. Just because
well,
Ron the night before, if he knows something's coming in, he's getting everything ready to go, and then when he can go, if it's in the middle of the night, he does it.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about like, if it's gonna be an ice storm, I think the electrical department's pretty important to be out there. Because if
I
they have
thought
an
we had,
outage.
I thought we
Yeah.
had the electric department
We
in
did
there.
put it back in there,
Yeah.
but then it didn't get put back in, so it should be, I thought.
Should the water department be in there too? I mean,
Should Terry be in there?
because if there's a water main break, I mean, they're gonna be here
Yeah.
anyway on their job. If there's an electrical problem, like Saturday night,
Right,
preventing an electrical problem in Miller, Dustin and Devin and Dan were out and switched the town over to
Yeah.
prevent a problem, which
Yeah.
was, so they're already, he was in on it before people even knew it was gonna happen.
Well, if they're all gonna be in on it, why are we just picking out a few for essential?
Exactly.
yeah,
Do we need to list anybody? Because they're all gonna do
Maybe
their
we
job,
don't
and if
need
they
to.
don't,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Do we need
Yeah.
that?
well, we probably don't if we're gonna, because, yeah,
That's their job, they're gonna be out here if they need to. If there's
So just
electrical
take
problem or
that,
water.
take that sentence completely out then?
If that's,
It's all right with me. Is it okay with everybody else to take that sentence out?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, I'm gonna scratch it. All right,
well, I'll go back to that, what Dale
Seems like every time
indicated
we have a
earlier
meeting now,
with
everything
regard
gets
to that
changed.
Christmas Eve.
So why have
I
it?
was mayor at that time,
is
and
all
when I
right.
came down here, I don't know what city employee wasn't down here
Working.
working. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was,
And they worked
This-
all night.
and they
Yeah.
worked all night, and it was cold. The weather was,
That was a nasty one.
I don't know if it was as, I'm not gonna say it was as cold as it was this last weekend, but it was brutal. And now on top of that, you got wet, you're
oh, yeah.
in those conditions. And I also have to extend a hand, our community came and boy, I think they brought things for the workers and things, throughout too, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, having said
That's fine
that,
with the Kesslers. I donated
Okay.
a bunch of water and lunch meat and stuff like
Yeah.
that too.
yeah, okay.
So if you don't mind, I will go ahead and I will make a motion to accept the new inclement weather policy, with that, third paragraph scratched.
Okay,
Can I
yeah,
back you up there?
What's that?
This is a recommendation, so since it's a recommendation, we can't vote on it tonight.
Oh, we can't?
So I will make that change and we will vote on the new policy
Until next week,
next
or
week.
next time,
Good
yeah.
point,
yeah.
Okay, that'd be fine with me.
okay, and then in the
Yeah.
meantime, it says the, Kellaland and KEBY will be notified and I have no problem notifying them, but should we specify, so, well, I thought you were gonna do it, or you're gonna do it. or
Notified by whom?
By whom? Yeah, notified.
Social media, Christie will put it on Facebook, she's really quick with that.
Okay,
I've never called Kellaland or KABY, and I don't know.
yeah,
Visiting with our superintendents, when they do, they have a kind of a code, they have to, knowing it comes from them. If I
Oh,
understand,
sure.
if that procedure
So
still
there's
is the way
nothing
it is
false.
today.
right.
Because
Yeah,
at
I
one
suppose,
point,
yeah.
a long time ago, they had kids calling in.
I'm sure.
So when they prevented that, they got that policy in.
I would have done that when I was a kid. Absolutely. If they
leave it
closed
to
school when I was
kids.
a kid.
They never closed school when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Not
just-
very often.
Well,
We
if,
still walked.
if
So who's
the-
gonna be our designated?
If the
Well,
mayor calls it.
The mayor could,
it's-
I could do it because things have from the input with regard to, or the mayor does, not necessarily
You're the one with the authority.
with the authority to do that upon
Yeah.
recommendation.
And we can, in this town, probably a good 90% of people either have Facebook or, I know Arlen has a lot of resources to just pick a geographical area and send a text out to everybody
yeah.
in that area.
Yeah,
That
I'm not
works
saying we
really
have to
good.
write any of this down. We can use it however we want.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I would say Arlen would be right up there with social media.
Yes.
Those are the first two that are gonna get the notification out, and then
Yeah.
Kellaland and KABY are for the ones that are
Yeah.
not social media people.
right.
And I know, and maybe not everybody wants this because with regard to it, but I know, like tonight, the basketball team went to Crow Creek and then, we got everybody who signed up for the number were notified that the girls' JV game would not be played tonight. It was just, and then also the start of the game was still, I think, was 4:30 or whatever, so.
So it's still early.
Everybody who had that, notification number,
Right.
School,
Receive
what's it
that
called?
information.
School reach.
Yeah.
School reach,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah,
yes.
we don't have that. Because we're grandparents.
Okay?
But we
so-
watched Kellaland and we saw the closures for our church. That worked out really nice.
Yeah.
So they got the word out that way.
You know, and I know that's not but that is so important because I still remember my grandmother when she was, now granted, she would live 2 blocks from the church. And she was in her 80s,
Hell or high water. you
and
get
her
to church.
sister was there who was older.
Yeah.
They crawled out a window so they could get to church.
That's the first time I ever remember church being called off because of weather.
Yeah.
In my 40-some years of going to church,
Yeah.
in all the places I've been.
Yeah,
But What
But
is
it's
the
awesome that they
age?
did it.
Yeah.
The age of our people that are going to church
No,
now,
absolutely.
you
No.
know, they shouldn't be out in that kind of weather.
But
It's-
if you
yeah.
don't do it,
They'll be there.
They'll be
do
there,
that, yeah.
yes.
And I think that's
Yep.
also some of the reasons that some of the places are closed, and those not only for the safety of the employees,
Mm-hmm.
but also for the safety of those patrons who feel the need
Worshipers,
to
yeah.
get something taken care of. Anyway, having said that.
Yeah.
So we'll look at that at the revised recommendation at the next meeting. So,
Okay.
motion to approve the bills.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion. Hearing none, motion on the table and second on the table to approve the bills submitted. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same. Motion carries.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, adjourned.
What'd you look at
I
me
thought
for?
you'd be saying something.
Tammy, I was waiting for you.
I'm just gonna be quiet.
Tammy and Joe used to fight over that every week.
It was a thing, it was a
When I was in the
race.
legislature, that was Gordon Peterson's job every day, and the speaker would not recognize anyone else. So if Gordon wasn't in his chair, you didn't get to go till he came back in the room.
That's funny.
And if he was gone, then it was up for grabs, but.
Mary,
Until Tammy came, and then all of a sudden one day she did it, I was like,